and this link? Can you raise your hands? Okay. How many of you have seen at least one of the two links? Same hands? Okay. So, majority have not seen. Fine. So, it is a new course. You are not supposed to know the syllabus. So, you should have seen these. But anyway, these two are sitting here for a long time. So, let us not go into that. Anytime you want, you can look up. Okay. Now, for whom is this course? This course was planned to be given primarily to PG students and also to UG students as open electives. Okay. But as happens with most PG courses, it turns out that UG students turn out to be majority in the course, which is perfectly fine. We do not mind it. Okay. PhD students are also PG students, and PhD students should take this course. However, there are many PhD students in the institute who are so old that they have finished their coursework, finished their comprehensive, many of them have finished their state of the art. They can say that when we were doing our coursework, at that time this course was not there. If it were, then we would have taken it. So, I am allowing them to take this course in the pass fail option, that is S/X, but that I am giving that option I am giving only to Y12, Y13 and Y14 batches. Why others are not getting that option? Why I am denying that option to others? Anybody can tell the reason? Why I am denying that option, this particular option, pass fail option, to other PhD students, say Y15 batch, Y16 batch?
They are young. They are young.
They
are young. They just joined now.
Young is not the right word. Yes, they are new. Yeah, but some of them also are telling that we want to take it in that option. Okay, I am telling no. Why I am telling no? Why I am denying that? One reason can be that I am a bad man, which is true. But the other reason is that by doing pass fail option, chances are low that they will do a good job at it and they will learn. So, that is the theory behind it. Now, you people that have come here, I want to ask you why to take this course, and for that matter immediately the question comes, why not to? Okay. So, you people have registered for the course, right? So, I want a few volunteers who will answer this question to me. Any volunteers? You people do not know why you have taken this course? No, you should know. So, I want some fearless volunteers who will be telling me and the rest of the class why they are taking this course. There can be several reasons. Okay? Yes? You? Yeah, when you say something in the class, if the mic is close by, then take it. Okay? Yes?
To improve effective communication writing.
To improve effective communication. That is one reason. Okay. Any other reason from this side? Yes.
So that we can express ourselves effectively to others, our feelings and other things.
Yes. So that we can express ourselves clearly to others. Give him the mic and let me ask him. Yeah, I am coming to you. When he said, so that he can express himself to others easily, certainly that is in your mind also, right? Now, what kind of expression you are thinking of?
So I was thinking that I would have said the same thing, or he's just right. I was thinking like that.
Yes, but when you or he talks about expressing yourself,
Yeah.
to whom, on what? There can be several expressions. To when you go to the airport of a particular foreign country, then that person does not know Hindi, Marathi, Telugu, Tamil, and you have to converse in Hindi, English. Okay. That is one kind of expression, you have to express yourself. This is one. Any other kind of expression that you can think of?
So when we want to explain ourselves something, or when we want to ask our teachers, so there might be a communication gap. So to overcome that communication.
Beyond something to somebody and beyond teachers, what else is there in the world? Yes.
To write the journal paper more literally strong.
Write the journal paper stronger. Okay. So that explains this scholarly communication.
So there be no any grammatical errors.
Correct? Good, not only grammatical errors, your composition should be strong, so that people should get convinced, they should get your idea. And next time when those people work in this field, then they should cite your papers, that this person did this. He can do that only when he understood what you wrote. Okay? So that is important. Of course, expressing yourself to that airport staff, expressing yourself to your girlfriend or boyfriend, these things are also important, sometimes more important perhaps. But then this scholarly communication part is explained by what he said. Okay. I already said that pass fail option I am giving to very few people, they are quite a good number for that matter, Y12, Y13, Y14. Auditing permission I am not giving to anybody. Now, when I said till previous semester, till last semester, whenever any student asked me that, sir, can I audit your course, I always said yes. Okay. Auditing I used to give permission always. I said, you just sit there, I do not care. Okay. This semester suddenly there is a change, I am not permitting it. When I said this to some of my students, they said that, but sir, it is such a big classroom, if somebody comes in, how will you figure out whether he is in the course or not? So you are not going to do policing? Of course not. And when I say that I am not giving permission, that keeps the option open that without my permission, if somebody is sitting there and trying to learn something like Ekalavya, I have absolutely no problem. Okay? But do not ask me for permission if you want to audit. Okay? I am not going to give permission. Without permission, do whatever you want. Okay? So that is the idea. Now, a few other things in the context of why to take the course and why not to. Are these lines readable? You can read? Last bench? Yes. So, I wanted 5 fearless and trusting volunteers who would be happy to answer my questions. But anyway, so this is the question. One answer which I have in mind, this also I have discussed with some of my close students. Some student may think that since my English is anyway very good, so if I take this course, I will have an advantage, and with very little work, I will get a very good grade with very little effort. Is this true? Do you think it is true? Yes? It is perfectly true. Okay. And I have no way to stop it, and I am not keen to stop it. This is true, but only to an extent, because if there is somebody whose English is very good and he thinks that with very little work he will get a reasonably good grade, then there are chances that he will take it so lightly that he will get less than what he deserves, and that will be very sad. Somebody having a good background in the subject should never do that. For that matter, I trust that if somebody with a good English background comes to this course, with whatever intention he had come earlier, once he is inside the course, he will be caught in the whirlwind of this course and he will end up doing some good things. Okay? And in that case, he deserves. For that matter, this applies to any course. For example, you are very good at mathematics. You go and take a course in numerical analysis. You will do well. You are very good in numerical analysis. You take a course in programming. You will do very well. or the other way around. So, we do not want to put knowledge capability at a disadvantage. That is why I am taking no measures to stop it. The other question that is more important is that this advantage of a student with good English, is this a disadvantage for another student who is joining the course to actually improve his English and he is having to slog through the course? Is this advantage for X going to be a disadvantage for P, Q, R? What do you think? Absolutely no. And this is what I want to tell you people. Telling you people is not important because you have already come into the course, but I know that there are many others who have been told by their guides, their professors, their DPGC conveners that take this course, they say, but nobody stops a good English student to take this course, from taking this course and in competition go ahead of me. How do you care whether somebody else goes ahead of you? Beyond your tenure in this institute, he is, whether he is going ahead of you or behind you or on left side, right side, whatever, does not matter. As long as you improve, as long as you get your due, you need not worry about others doing better or worse. Okay? So, it is not going to be disadvantage for another student. This is an important message which I want to percolate to the student body sooner or later. The point is going to become clearer a little later, okay, down the line. From the last row, you see the class size. Okay. You will call it a small class or a large class? Who said large class? Yes, she said large class. Okay. So, but you know, the same question can be answered both ways. Yes, it is a large class in the sense that it is a new course. Before this, nobody knew about this course. Second, it is not compulsory for anybody, it is elective for everybody. And then, of course, you do not see all the students because many have not come because of the fog. IIT students are very luxurious. Okay. So, in that context, if you see 75 students, you will say that it is a large class. But then, in the institute, there are thousands of students, okay, and at least half of them need this course. So, where are those hundreds of students? So, that way it can be called a small class compared to what should have been the class strength. Now, for both of these, there are reasons. One, why so many students have registered, assuming that it is a large class, okay, 75, 77, 80 something. Assuming that it is a large class, we want to find out why so many students have registered, and then going to the other extreme and considering it as a small class, we will also want to explore why so few people have registered, where are the remaining hundreds of students. So, if we take the first view that it is a large class, good number of students have registered, anybody knows the reason why many people have registered, so many people have registered? Part of the answer is already written here. Registered class size is in some ways a feedback, perhaps a referendum on the instructor. So many people have registered. The simple reason is that the instructor is an effective communicator. Okay. So, the instructor has succeeded in communicating to the student body that it is possible for them to improve English. This particular instructor can help in improving, and this particular instructor is serious about doing this job. This communication this particular instructor has sent home in last 3 years. You know that. And those who have registered, they have registered for a new course with this expectation that yes, English can be improved and this gentleman can help us do that, and he is serious about it. This is the reason for so many students having registered. Now coming to the other extreme view, why so few students have registered? What is the reason? There are thousands of students in the institute who need this course, but the number of registered students is less than 100. What is the reason? Any answer? Hesitation. But then they are going to other courses. You have to take n courses in a semester. Why hesitation in this course? Why not in the other course? Oh, this is elective. But a number of electives also one has to take. Why not this? Why some other course? Attractive, right. So, this also is partly a feedback or referendum on this instructor. Students have an impression that this is one of those instructors who have no mercy on students, who tells the student, do this, do that, and do that also, and do this much of it, and do that much of it. And then whatever you do, he says, this is less. Okay. So, the instructor has no mercy. Okay. This is also an impression which this particular instructor has created for good. Now, my advice on all these things, thinking of disadvantage that there are other better students in the class, thinking of the instructor being merciless, all those negative thoughts one need not think. One should try to learn and not fear. When you are trying to learn something, try to learn it. Okay. What do you fear? Grade? Grade is not important. It is the background that you develop, it is the expertise that you develop which is going to stay with you in the long run. Of course, I am not talking about that extreme situation when this grade or that grade means termination or retention. That is a serious issue, I agree. Okay. Except that, whether it is A or B, that is avoiding termination with a huge margin or with a reasonable margin, that difference is absolutely immaterial. Who cares whether you are 9.5 or 9.2 or 8.7 or 8.3? I don't care. And after 5 years, nobody will ask you what was your grade in that course, this course, mathematics, numerical analysis, thermodynamics, whatever. Nobody will ask. So, if you think that you want to learn a subject, learn it. Do not fear. And from the teacher, why does a student even say that this teacher is merciless, he does not have mercy on the students? You should not ask for mercy. And for that matter, I have so much respect for my students, so much affection for my students that I have no mercy for them. I have mercy for those for whom I don't have love, I don't have respect, I have contempt, I have pity. Okay? That is why I never show any mercy to my students. I never show any mercy to those in whose welfare, in whose good, in whose progress I am interested. Students are those people in whose progress, in whose welfare I am interested. I am not going to show them mercy. So, from the teacher, expect his time and care, expect his love and respect. Never ask for mercy, never ask for concession. If this is the rule, follow it. If you falter, then whatever is the penalty, take it. Okay? Be responsible, be mature, be adult. Now, another thing is, IIT students are very bothered about grade. Some people initially ask, with how much performance this gentleman gives B? It doesn't work like that. Okay, we cannot work like that. In fact, yesterday with the registration form, some people came to my, those who were doing manual registration, many people came to my office, and one of them asked one of my associates, what kind of a person is this man? Do you know? You are working with him. So, do you know what kind of a person he is? She asked, why do you ask? Then the student asked, no, I am asking what kind of grade does he give? Okay. So, people think, students think that in a course there are x% A, y% B, z% C and so on. That is true, but always keep in mind these x, y, z, u, v, w, these are variables, these are not constants. Okay. Nobody forces, nobody compels an instructor in our institute that you have to give 5% A, 10% B, 20% C, absolutely no such compulsion is there. Okay. So, therefore, these x, y, z, u, v, w are variables, and that means 30% A, 50% B, 10% C, this is possible, this is a possibility. So, why people are afraid, why people think so much about grades? If students do a good job in the course, instructor will be happy to give a grade, give a good grade. On the other hand, even 15% F, 25% E, 50% D, even this is a possibility. U, V, W, X, Y, Z are variables, and therefore, this monster of relative grading, relative grades is something which hanging over the head creates a lot of headache. Okay. Push that out, throw that away. That relative grading thing is not needed, is in principle not needed for any course, and for this course particularly there is absolutely no need for a relative grading. You know why? What is the difference between this course and other courses? In the other courses, the instructor has a problem because he teaches a curriculum, then sets a question. He himself typically does not know whether his questions are too difficult or too easy or okay kind of thing, because he knew the answer anyway, that is why he set the question. And then when he wants to compare one subset of students, then all that he gets is the rest of the students in that class only. So, to an extent he has some need of a relative grading in order to compare a student. For example, a student is there who has got 75% marks overall. Now, this 75%, is it too large or too small? Who will tell? Nobody can tell. The way I asked whether this class is large, she said large. Then I was not satisfied. I said, ye dil mange more. I said that no, this is too small. Okay. So, who will tell whether 77 is too large or too small? So, typical instructor in a typical course has this problem that he cannot compare it against an absolute standard. In our course, in LSSC, we have an absolute standard, because over years, over instances, we have perfected a standard which we can call absolute, because every time we conduct test of English as a functional language, we benchmark it against the marks and grades and people of the last time. We have always conducted TOEFL in such a manner that there are people who have taken this round of test and the previous round of test also. So, who has improved English to what extent? For that we have an absolute benchmark, and therefore, we do not need to go to any relative grading. And that means that if at the end of this semester it happens that all of you score very high in our test, then I will not interpret that the test was extremely easy. I have no reason to interpret so, because I will know exactly how difficult or how easy is the test. So, the cutoffs of that test will get determined after benchmarking it against the previous test with the same set of people. So, therefore, we have an absolute benchmark, and that also means that if all of you perform rotten at the end of the semester and then come and say, oh sir, this time the English test was really terrible. I do not have any reason to believe it if independently I know that the same people who got B last time got B this time also, then I know that the standard is same. So, therefore, we have an absolute standard now. In any case, there are some concerns that the students may have, two concerns of students which I can think of which are genuine, and let me address those while discussing the grading scheme. This is a policy which we always follow. In the beginning of the semester, we put our cards on the table, we say that this is our grading plan, these are the things which you will be asked to do, based on which we will put marks, based on which we will put the final grade. We do not say with what total marks it will be A, B or C, but otherwise we tell that these are the things which will be expected of you. So, grading scheme, grade will be based on what activities. This as a policy we say. I do not know whether that is a very good thing to do or whether that helps you in learning. I have some contrary opinions, but anyway we do that. So, let us do it. And in the context of that, I will try to address two concerns which are genuine, which you may have and for which I will tell you the remedy. For every hour of class, whether it is lecture hour or tutorial hour, I will give you 5 minutes in which you have to do something, and that we will evaluate. Okay? And for that you will get 5 marks. So, we have lectures 2 hours a week, which means something like 24-26 lectures. So, out of those 24 lecture hours, you will get 24 or maybe 22 classwork record. Out of that, the best 20 I will count, which also means that if you miss 2, then you do not have to come to me and say, sir, I missed 2, do something about it. Okay, we have already done it, we will count best 20. Similarly, tutorial practice hours are also 2 hours a week, that is actually today. Okay. So, out of these 2 hours also I will give you 5 minutes and 5 minutes. Someday I will give you in 2 slots, 2 5-minute slots, and someday if my mood is great that day, I will give you one single 10-minute slot. Today my mood is not great. Okay. So, again for every 5 minutes you will get 5 marks, and 20 best I will count as usual, so that you have an option of falling sick, okay, or going to your brother's marriage, or going to Roorkee to represent IIT Kanpur in football. Okay, all those options you have in hand. I have no problem. Okay, do that. Do not fall sick to the extent possible. Other things do. Okay. So, again, so this 20 into 5, 100 marks you get. This 20 into 5, 100 marks you get. Over the semester, I will give you 40 assignments. Okay. That is for improving your English. Now, if somebody is there whose English is already good, whom I welcome, if he comes and says that, sir, my English is already great, you have taken TOEFL, so you know, so exempt me from these assignments, then I am going to tell him that, well, since you are in the course, you are not exempt from anything, you also do it. But since your English is so good, it will be cakewalk for you. The assignment for which an average student will spend a lot of effort, scratch his brain a lot, you will do it like this. So, just do it. Okay. So, he also has to do it, but then yes, for him it will become easy. Now, this 40 assignments, out of which I will count 30. This is one genuine concern the student may have. The student may ask, sir, do you think in this semester, in one semester, it is possible to do 40 assignments of this size? I do not say anything impossible, I do not call anything impossible, but I agree that doing all those 40 assignments will be difficult for you. Okay. You may not have time to do all those 40 assignments. If you falter, if you find that in a set of 5 assignments you could do only 4 or only 3, do not worry. Whatever you could do by the deadline, you submit that. Okay. And keep in mind that others also will have similar difficulties. And while I say that since I have a lot of respect for students, I do not show them mercy, I do not give them concession, I am not unreasonable. I am myself telling you on the first day of the course that doing all 40 assignments may be Herculean, because you are doing 4 courses, 5 courses. Okay. But it is up to you. You have come to this course with an intention to improve your English. So, do it to the extent you can, and beyond that extent, do not regret. Do not come and tell me that I could not do it, do not beat me. I am not going to beat you anyway. Okay. But stay true to yourself. You should be in a position to explain to yourself that I could do this much and that much I have done. So, no regrets. Okay. So, if in a set of 5 assignments you could do only 4, submit those 4. In fact, in every set of 5 assignments, if you can do 4, that is great. Tell me why? Because that means out of 40 assignments you will end up doing 32, and I am going to count only 30. Only 30 based assignments I am going to count. So, a lot of freedom, a lot of redundancy is already built into the thing. Then you will say, sir, then why are you giving all 40? The reason is that all 40 together in that set make a coherent, complete set of instructions, coherent, complete set of tasks, which I think is important for somebody to systematically learn English. Okay? Systematically learn English to a good standard. Okay? That is why I have kept all those 40. Just in case somebody is in a position to do all 40, let him do it and achieve that. Okay? And others also will have choice. Out of those 40, 4 of them perhaps will be such which you will thoroughly dislike. Okay? Do the rest of the 36. Okay? So, of course, this is something which I do not have to explain to you people, because most of you who have come here have come either through JEE or through GATE. Okay. Now, tell me, who is here who answered all the questions of JEE or all the questions of GATE? I will be happy to see him. I have appeared in JEE as well as GATE. It was impossible, man, to answer all questions. Okay. So, that is the way it is. In a set, when there are 60 questions given, if you can answer 44, in a situation where doing 44 is a great achievement, you are the boss. Okay. So, that is the same thing here. If 40 assignments is a difficult thing to achieve, then if you by chance end up submitting 40 assignments, then come and tell me that, sir, in this semester I have submitted all 40 assignments. Go and see, all those 40 assignments are non-trivial. I have got good marks in that, or at least I did the complete job, whether good marks or not. I am going to give you a party. Okay? So, I am bribing students for studying. Okay? So, 30 assignments. Now, this is a concern I told you that which you may have, genuine. I agree. So, whatever is your genuine concern, I already know. Okay. Throughout the semester, there will be 3 tests. In fact, there are 4 modules of English Proficiency course. For the first 3 modules, we will give you a module test. At the end of the 4th module, I do not have to give you a module test, because by that time the final evaluation will come so close. So, these 3 tests, each of them will carry 100 marks and total will give you 300. And then mid-sem will not be there, because whatever was to be achieved in mid-sem will be distributed over these. There will be no formal mid-sem. Okay? But these module tests will be conducted in a standard exam environment. And this is a good news for resistance of this course, because during the mid-sem week, when you are really troubled and tense with 4 exams, at that time if one exam is less during that week, It is lot of fun. I was a student at one time, I know. Okay. Now, we come to this scholarly communication part. There will be certain additional things to do to satisfy the scholarly communication part, which I will give you various things. We will discuss what are those things. Okay. And on that, whatever I evaluate, I will somehow bring that sum total to 200. Okay. Now, add up all these things, you get 1000. So, out of these 1000 marks, I will try to put a grade. Okay. That can be A star, A, B, C, D, whatever. And then in parallel, there will be another grading going on. Sometime around the end of March, we will have one round of test of English as a foreign language, sorry, as a functional language. Ours is functional language, and those who qualify through that, they will be given the actual exam, actual test, ADEPT, Advanced English Proficiency Test. Okay. This is a standard of TOEFL and ADEPT, which we have worked out already. That is not only for registrants of this course, that is for outsiders also, for the rest of the world also. The same benchmark which we use to examine and evaluate the English standard of some unknown person, the same benchmark we will be using for our course students also. Okay. So, now in that test, whatever your grade comes, A star, A, B, C, etc., that will be another parallel alternative grade that you will get by the middle of April. Now, by the middle of April, I will have 2 grades in my hand for every student, one out of this 1000 marks and the other from this TOEFL ADEPT combination. Okay. And the actual grade that he gets out of the semester course will be the resultant of these two. What is the idea of resultant of 2 grades? Can you guess what should be a reasonable just resultant of 2 grades? If both are B, then resultant grade is B. If one is A and the other is C, then also it is B. If one grade is B, the other grade is D, then the resultant is C. Yes, that is exception case. AB, the decision is in favor of the student, then he gets A. Similarly, if one grade is B and the other grade is C, the decision again is in favor of the student, he gets B. Benefit of doubt always goes to the incumbent, to the student, to the individual, not to the system. Okay. Authority goes to the system, benefit of doubt, advantage goes to the student, goes to the individual. So, this is the idea of resultant of 2 grades. Okay. This is one concern about assignments. About tests, you do not have any concern. What is there? 1 hour test, you will be called, you will be sitting and you will be appearing in the test. In fact, not even 1 hour, typically it is 45 minutes test. Fine. So, we, yes? A star. There is a grade called A star also. That is also 10 point, but that is with a prestige. In TOEFL also, we have a grade called S. Getting S grade in TOEFL is a matter of great prestige. Okay. So, similarly, A star is a matter of great prestige. So, A star in the institute grade is equivalent to our S grade in TOEFL. Okay. The other concern is the amount of time that it will take. I mean, not only for doing the assignments, but for following through the lessons. That is also another concern. In that also, I will tell you, do your best and see how far you can go. This is the first time we are experimenting, but this is a complete course and that is why we have kept it. Okay. Assignment submission policy. With every assignment, there will be a due date, okay. And you can submit the assignment on the due date in class within first 5 minutes. For example, the first set of assignments will be due on 12th, that is Thursday, and that means you will be submitting it here by 10:05. Okay. So, that is the correct way to submit the assignments on the due date in class within the first 5 minutes, or from 3 p.m. on the same date you can submit it in the EPP office FB 389 till 5 minutes of the next class. That means, if you miss the deadline of 12th, then next class will be on 16th. Okay. After Thursday, next class is on Monday. Okay. So, if you miss the deadline of 12th for the first set of assignment, any of them, okay, then that day 3 p.m. onwards up to in the next class Monday, first 5 minutes in class, you can submit with a penalty of 5%. But from 10:05 on 12th till 3 p.m. on 12th, if you submit, you can, then there is a penalty of 10%. What is the logic? Anybody understood the logic of this? Perhaps there is no logic, but we follow this policy. Okay. You understood the deal? There is something very funny here. That means 12th 10 a.m. is the assignment due. If you submit it between 10 and 10:05 on 12th, then that is perfect submission, no problem. 12:05 up to 3 p.m. if you submit, then you are given 10 marks penalty. On the other hand, if you submit after 3 p.m. till Monday 12 o'clock, Monday class is 12 to 1, then you are given only 5 marks penalty. The reason is that if on the deadline you miss the first 5 minutes, then we want to discourage you from submitting in the period in between when we are not in a mood to take it. Okay. After that, submit it, again there is a time, so then the penalty is less. So, I want to ensure that between 10:05 and 3 p.m. on that day, nobody wants to submit. Okay. He submits it afterwards. So, that is the idea. There are reasons for that. Okay. So, now we continue on the next issue. What is the content of this course? Something which was written in this syllabus has been written in a different manner. And before that, I said content and schedule. Now, schedule is actually variable. Section 2, one section of the class, which will be the minority section most probably, will be introduced early to scientific scholarly communication modules, modules 5, 6, 7, and they will be given more exposure to these segments. Okay. And the majority section, section 1, will be given, one may have 1A, 1B for that matter. The majority section will be given more intensive practice on modules 1, 2, 3, which is basic English proficiency, and these are the 7 modules. Modules 1, 2, 3 cater to basic English proficiency. Module 4 is in a way buffer, common part between this sector and this sector, this segment and this segment. That is why it is crossing over to both the columns. So, module 4 is English proficiency at a professional level. If the education system in Indian schools were ideal, then this course would start from this module. Because the school system in India is not ideal, it is important that we cover modules 1, 2, 3 also. Okay. But this is something which college students should be taught. Okay. It will be only rare school pass out students who will be conversant with this part. This part is actual professional English. Okay. So, this is in a way common buffer between the two, English proficiency at a professional level. And then the remaining last 3 modules are actually related to scholarly communication. Module 5 caters to the discipline and process of scholarly communication. What is the style and norm of drafting a technical paper? How you organize your material? how you prepare a conference paper manuscript. When the review comes, what do you do with the review? And then if you are asked to go and participate and present your paper or poster, then what you do? These things, for that we will have a mock practice. How that details we will work out later. Okay. So, that is module 5. Module 6 is the aid of computers, softwares and internet in scholarly communication. And module 7 is something which is of value, which is of use in all kinds of scholarly communication, not only scientific, not only technical. Even if you are writing a novel, even if you are writing a newspaper article, even if you are writing a book on some theme which you have thought of, your intention is to communicate what you have thought of. Okay. As these people said, that they want to express their thoughts better to the rest of the world. Okay. And how to do it so that your reader and your audience listens to it, believes it and does not forget. These are the three things, right? First of all, you have to make the guy listen. Second, you have to make him understand. And third, once he understands, you want to do something so that he does not forget. Okay. So, you told such and such things happen. Okay. He should never forget. Okay. What to do for that? So, the art of convincing and impressing readers and audience, that is module 7. Traditionally, it was known and it was learnt and taught by the name rhetoric. Now, in modern times, the rhetoric word has got some negative connotations. So, people do not use it so much in that sense. So, now the other term that is used in that place is called elements of style and diction. Now, what is this art of convincing and impressing readers and audience? I will try to show you this with an illustration. What is the power of communication? What is this thing called powerful communication? The opening paragraph of a book, Unweaving the Rainbow, says, we are going to die, and that makes us the lucky ones. Most people are never going to die because they are never going to be born. The potential people who could have been here in my place, but who will in fact never see the light of day, outnumber the sand grains of Arabia. Certainly, those unborn ghosts include greater poets than Keats, scientists greater than Newton. We know this because the set of possible people allowed by our DNA so massively exceeds the set of actual people. In the teeth of these stupefying odds, it is you and I in our ordinariness that are here. Okay. Now, this is the opening paragraph of this book. Within days, you will forget the specific words used here. You will forget the poetry and drama of this paragraph, but using those words, using that poetry, using that drama, Dawkins expressed a scientific fact which is well known. You perhaps know that fact. He expressed a scientific fact, well known scientific fact, which now it will be difficult to forget. This is the first break for one practice session. Can you distribute? As you get these sheets, at the top write this. These sheets are empty, blank. You write roll number and then write your roll number, then write name, then write your name, then write marks, and do not write your marks. Okay? And below that draw a line and write practice 1, ME 601 2016-17 semester 2, 5 January 2017. This much you do. After this practice session, we will have a 5 minutes break, because it is a 2-hour session. So, in between we will have a 5 minutes break. So, those who will finish it early, they can have a 7 minutes break. You get the point? That is, out of the 5 minutes, if you end up using only 3 minutes, you finish in 3 minutes, then you can submit that sheet and then take your break, go off, have a glass of water and make a phone call to your friend, and then come back at the stipulated time. Okay? Everybody got the sheet? Fine. Everybody has written that top thing at the top? Do that. Done? Top line is written. Now, the work that I want you to do on this is this. Within days, a reader may forget the specific words, the poetry and drama of the passage, but using them, Dawkins has expressed a well-known scientific fact which one will not forget easily. What is that fact? Write the answer, only answer, do not write the question. Write the answer in your words briefly, 5 minutes from now. Look at this drama and poetry a little, which Dawkins is using to send home his message. Opens with "We are going to die." With this opening, the narrative can go in various directions. The reader gets interested in seeing which direction does it take, and then Dawkins gives the jolt, and that makes us the lucky ones. Surprise. Then over that he gives another surprise. Most people are never going to die. What? Then he explains, suddenly breaks down the drama, because they are never going to be born. Now you know what he is talking. Then the potential people who could have been here in my place, but who will in fact never see the light of day, outnumber the sand grains of Arabia. At the top he was using drama, here he is using poetry. Certainly those unborn ghosts, see the words. He is vividly communicating to you the identity of people who are not people, for whom there is no identity for that matter. Those identities are in terms of certain DNA sequences. Unborn ghosts include greater poets than Keats, scientists greater than Newton. Probabilistically, that is what you would expect. We know this. How do we know? This is the scientific fact. Many of you got it right. The set of possible people allowed by our DNA so massively exceeds the set of actual people. Okay? Then again, in the teeth of these stupefying odds, extremely low probability, all of you know that your DNA sequence exactly is unlikely to match with anybody else in the world, either alive or dead or future to come, okay, or to come in future. In the teeth of these stupefying odds, that is with so little probability, it is you and I in our ordinariness that are here. Okay? So, this message is something that our DNA sequence allows an enormous number of potential human beings, out of whom very few are born. And look, we are born and we are living a life. How lucky we are. And then this book goes on over hundreds of pages. how do good writers produce impressive texts across hundreds of pages? Make note that it is not only because he knows that subject, that is only one part. What makes a good communicator? One is knowledge and expertise in chosen area. He should know something in that area which he will communicate. Second, linguistic capability. He should have the capability to express that. And third, which is very, very important, time, care and passion to communicate and convince. The author, the speaker has to have this urge in himself that what he thinks right, what he thinks true, what he thinks desirable, that message should go to his reader, to his audience. Okay. He should be serious about it, he should be sincere about it, and therefore, he should spend nights, days, actual trouble, actual labor thinking how the reader will understand this and not forget. Okay. So, even Dawkins does not produce masterpiece just like that. I am sure this paragraph was not his first draft. He must have written something which was good to begin with, then he must have thought that what to do so that there is an impact, what to do so that the reader does not forget. No, this word is not strong enough, this word does not make an impact, what word will make an impact, then keeping a balance. Steven Pinker says, Steven Pinker is a psychologist, cognitive scientist, and he has some contributions in linguistic subjects also. He says that only knowing the subject matter does not make you a good writer. There is a big difference between a coherent passage of writing and a flaunting of one's erudition. Some people write in such a manner that at the end of that reading, you will say, wow, this man is such a big scholar, I could not understand anything. Okay. So, what is the big deal then? Why did he write it if you did not understand anything? Okay. So, there is a big difference between a coherent passage of writing and a flaunting of one's erudition, a running journal of one's thoughts or a published version of one's notes. Whatever you think, you just jot down and say, this is my MTech thesis. Nobody will understand anything out of it. Okay. A coherent text is a designed object. The author thinks what to put in that, how to put, in what sequence, in what order, so that the message goes and stays there. An ordered tree of sections within sections, crisscrossed by arcs that track topics, points, actors and themes, and held together by connectors that tie one proposition to the next. Like other designed objects, it comes about not by accident, but by drafting a blueprint, attending to details and maintaining a sense of harmony and balance. This is the art of communicating, convincing and impressing your readers and audience. This is module 7. Okay. So, this is the rough schedule that we are going to follow in these covering these modules. You do not have to remember this, because this entire material is going to be there on the website. Okay. And this is only a tentative schedule, it can go a little this way, that way. And now, the modules 1, 2, 3, 4, these 4 modules on English proficiency, modules 1 to 3 on basic English proficiency and module 4 on professional English proficiency, we are going to cover exactly in the line of the EPP course, Practical English Learning and Teaching. So, for which the actual website address is written here. Okay. So, if you directly want to reach there, you can directly put this in the browser and reach here. These are a little introductory things which you do not need, because you have already come into the course. And yes, test of English as a functional language, you already know through the other message that this Saturday 10 a.m. onwards in L16 and L17 TOEFL is going to be conducted, first TOEFL of this semester. In a semester, we typically conduct 2 TOEFLs. This first TOEFL for the participants of this, for the students, registered students of this course, ME601, both the TOEFLs are mandatory. They are required part of the course. Okay. So, that means this Saturday in the morning around 10, reach L16, L17 and appear in this test. Then there is a little module 0 for those people whose English is so weak that they cannot cover this thing at the proper pace. I hope for you it is not needed, but if you think that it will be a good idea to have a look at that, then you can have a look at this overall plan or this module 0 sessions directly. There are some videos and some materials. Okay. But you will not have so much time now to go through that all in detail, and most probably you do not need. And then the 40 session course starts from here, and to quickly discuss what is there in the first set of 5 lessons that I am releasing today, there is a little outline here. Okay. It is so huge that it is going out of the screen. What do I do to handle it? Like this? Okay. So, the last column is actually teaching notes. You may not bother about that, or if you want to bother, you can, because you will not always look at it through this projector. You will be looking at your own laptop or something. Okay. And here there are some supplementary material and tutorials, which is also of less importance compared to what is here. This column is the actual lesson, which is the video lecture, and whatever material has been referred to in this are distributed in this column and in this column. These 2 columns that way would not be necessary, except that the letters on the screen in this are very small. So, you may need to once in a while refer to this, or for that matter, once you have gone through the lesson, then you can just quickly have a look at the material and not go through the video once more. Through this material you will be reminded of what the lesson was, but this video lesson you must go through. Okay. Without that, it will be difficult for you to do the assignments appropriately. So, right now I will give you the quick outline of these 5 first lessons, which we have put here right now. Okay. Next Thursday 12th, the next 5 lessons will be put, and along with that 5 assignments, and like that it will continue over 8 sets of 5 lessons each. Okay. And in between there will be module tests like this. So, quick outline of the first 5 lessons. What is covered in first 5 lessons? Yes, that brings me to the other concern that students may have. One reason why many IIT students have joined the EPP course in past and discontinued in between is because after going through the initial few lessons, they interpret that, oh, this is very easy, very simple, very childish, this is not for me. Do not fall into that mistake. It is there because there are some people in the target community who need that also, and for that matter, even those who think that this is childish, this is very simple, this is very low class, even they quite often make mistakes in those sectors, and that is why whatever is there, you go through it. Before you notice, you will find that you have reached the stage where lessons are right at your level, and again before you notice, you will find that you have reached lessons, sets of lessons which you find difficult. Okay. Because one thing is certain, that by the time you reach module 3, there will be very few people in the class who will be in a position to say that this is very, very easy, very childish, nothing of the sort. And module 4, as I told you, is professional level English. But if you want to reach till that point, then you must start at the bottom, and with the foundation you start ensure that all the mistakes on the way you have settled, you are no more making any mistake of that kind, and slowly climb upward. Okay. So, do not discontinue in between. However, if you want to discontinue, there is another funny rule that I follow in my courses. In my course, the last date of dropping in this semester is 26th January, and in the other semester it is 15th August. Okay. So, if you want freedom from me, then by 15th August or by 26th January you take the freedom. After that, I do not sign any drop form. Okay. So, if somebody has the mood of dropping, he has to decide before 26th January. Okay. So, those who stay in the course beyond 26th January, they stay till April. Okay. So, now the quick outline. In session 1, we discuss an overview of the course, what is the motivation behind the course, what are the issues in learning English, particularly for Indian audience, particularly for Indian people, that is English as an additional language, not as mother tongue. Okay. And then who are the typical audience of EPP, English Proficiency Program, and what are the particular features of this course. These are the issues which are discussed in session 1, that lesson 1 video lecture. Okay. And then the assignment asks you to write a brief essay on issues which are discussed here. Okay. So, you have to listen to the video. If you can afford a little extra time, then have a look at the tutorial also, but the tutorial may not be necessary for all of you. Okay. So, what does the tutorial do? The tutorial primarily, this particular tutorial on session 1 primarily concentrates on an exercise on listening, discussing and paraphrasing, something that you just now did in a way. Okay. Session 2. Session 2 talks about the importance of writing correct script in English, the cursive writing, the correct writing style which makes your writing clear and clean. And now here again majority of students feel that this teacher is unnecessarily creating so much of trouble with clear and clean writing. There are several reasons for that. One, of course, is that over 2 decades I am grading answer books so many times, in every semester twice, earlier it used to be thrice, that I would really love if the handwriting is clear, if it is readable. That is one thing. But besides that, I want you to value your writing at 2 levels. One, at the composition level, where you should take your writing so seriously that you should put in language which the reader understands easily and reader does not forget. That is the language of it. And then if you are writing by hand, then I also want you to respect your writing enough. You should think that what you are writing, others are actually going to read it and going to be benefited. Okay. And if they have to spend so much of time in deciphering your writing, then that may mean a loss to them. You care for them, you value your writing. Okay. Whatever you write, you value it and believe that there will be others who will read them and who will be benefited by them, and for them you are writing. They are very close to you, they are very dear to you. Okay. Write for them. Okay. So, write clean and clear. So, that is one thing. And apart from that, a particular technique we illustrate in this particular session, and we call that interpretation. When you go through the video carefully, then you will see how it works, but in brief it can be said that when you read something from one language or listen to something and try to interpret it, what you typically do? You break down different pieces of the sentence, and each sentence you each part of it you interpret in your mind, and then those pieces you try to reassemble in your mind in order to interpret. Now, for those people that is us. For those people for whom English is an acquired language, sometimes at least in the beginning period it happens that we mentally try to establish a mapping between whatever has been told to us or whatever we are reading in English to the corresponding version in our own mother tongue. Okay. And for me it can be either Bangla or Hindi, for you it can be Gujarati, for somebody else it can be Marathi, for somebody else it can be Kannada, Urdu, whatever. Now, one very interesting thing is that Indian languages, all of them including Tamil, Kashmiri, Urdu, fall in one family. Okay. And translating from one of them to another is not very difficult. Okay. If you know both the languages, then very quickly you can translate things. I have tried, I have succeeded, it is very easy. Okay. On the other hand, translating things from English to Hindi or Bengali or some other Indian language is a little trouble, or the other way around, because they are languages from different families and their structure is different. Okay. So, that is why when we have to learn English, we basically need to learn a different structure, and that means that learning English is a little difficult for us compared to learning another Indian language. But then for me the task is simple, that if I explain to you the logic by taking one Indian language as example, you will get the message for whatever other Indian language. So, whatever illustrations I give between Hindi and English, the same illustration, the entire logic of it will work between English and Tamil, English and Gujarati, English and Urdu, English and Bangla, there is no problem. Okay. Because all these are languages of the same family. Okay. So, when I try to illustrate interpretation, then I try to show you the technique of taking a sentence, breaking it into constituent pieces and then translating each piece, that is interpreting each piece in your first language, and then those pieces you reassemble. And sometimes at the end of it there is a little final post processing required. As you see the video lecture and the tutorial, if video lecture does not make it enough clear, then look at the video also, you will have fun. And then assignment asks you to translate a passage from English through the interpretation process, through this step by step process. Do not simply translate the thing, even if the sentences are simple. I want the application and illustration of that process, because for very simple sentences that process may be redundant, that process may not be needed, but a practice of the process will help you in the long run in deciphering, in interpreting complicated sentences also. And when I say translation of a passage from English, I have not mentioned to which language. If you do it to Hindi, we will find it easy to handle it, but you are free to translate it into one of the select a large list of languages. Okay. But if it is to Hindi, then it will become easier for us to interpret. If it is to Gujarati or Marathi or Punjabi or Tamil, then we will have to manage some effort to handle it. Okay. But we will do it. In the tutorial, the same thing has been illustrated further, segmentation of English sentences and their reconstruction in CLL. What is CLL? Common local language. Okay. For the lessons, we have used Hindi as the common local language, but you do not have to use it. If you feel that you are not comfortable with Hindi, you are comfortable with Kannada, no problem, welcome, do it with Kannada, okay. Do it with Tamil, do it with Punjabi. Of course, somebody who is conversant with Punjabi is equally conversant with Hindi also, does not matter for him. Fine. Session 3 starts with a new topic, word families, and another technique it illustrates, that is expression. Expression is the inverse of interpretation. In interpretation, you are reading an English text trying to interpret it. By that we sometimes mean interpret it in your language. Expression is something that you have already thought or you already have in your own language, now you want to express it into English. So, precisely the inverse process. You break down your own Gujarati, Tamil, Malayalam, Bengali, Hindi sentence into pieces, translate each piece separately into English, reassemble the English pieces according to the English grammar rules. Okay. And that is expression. So, apart from this expression, we introduce word families here. And as you see the word families, you will notice what is the theme behind the word families. They basically club together large number of words based on vowel sound patterns. Most of these words will be familiar to you. There will be one or two here and there initially, more later, which will be unfamiliar. And according to the vowel sound patterns, we club words in order to collect and teach large chunks of words together. Okay. So, these are the word families which are given in this particular session. There will be other families later. Assignment again talks of the inverse process, English translation of a passage in CLL. If you pick up a Hindi passage, great, but you can pick up a passage in Malayalam, Marathi, Tamil, no problem. Okay. Tutorial again does two things. One is practice of some of these words and the other is segmentation of CLL sentences and their reconstruction in English, the process it illustrates. Session 4 goes one more step in the word families, a particular variation in word families, the sound sequence it illustrates, that is end E effect. RAT, what is the word? Rat, RATE, rate. Okay. E comes at the end, but at the end the sound does not come. The intermediate sound gets modified, that is what we call end E effect, and that is a regular rule. That pattern is studied in this session, and then we go into the basic sentence structure. Now, in session 4 we study only two major classes of sentences. This one we call as the simplest sentence, in which we express order, instruction or request. Okay. And the second one is simple present, simple past, simple future. It is obvious. Okay. Subject plus verb. And the assignment asks you, very simple, it will take you just a few minutes to do this assignment, construction of sentences with given words and in required types. That is some of this type, some of this type, some of this type, some of this type. Okay. That is all in assignment 4. Now, if you think that, hey, this is so simple, I doing it, it does not look nice, do not get into that, we have done it. Okay. So, you also can do. Do not forget that story, Newton had two cats, you know. No? So, Newton asks a carpenter to make a window for the two cats to come inside his house, one for the big cat and one for the small cat. And then the carpenter makes a window, and then Newton says that, where is the other window? Because this is the window, because, but this is for the large cat, where is the other window for the small cat? Okay. So, do not be Newton. Okay. So, if through the window the large cat can go, the small cat also can go. So, if you can do heavy hi-fi assignments, then simple assignments also you can do, just do it. Okay. So, in the tutorial some steps are discussed to practice and learn new words, and apart from that exercise of sentences of these types. Okay. Session 5 word family continues. With that end E effect, some more word families are illustrated. One is make, end E effect on A, second is 5, end E effect on I, third is gene, end E effect on E, then end E effect on U, end E effect on O. These are further 5 word families. And now we start with verbs. We give a small list of very, very common verbs, and The verbs come in 5 forms. The verb go can take 5 forms with different uses and utilities: go, went, gone, goes, going. Here we list all the 5 forms of the verbs which are taken in this list. It is a very small list. More lists will come later, and we illustrate the use of the first form, the second form and the fourth form. Third and fifth are postponed for later purpose. And in the sentence structure, we take up some more kinds of sentences. Last time it was simple present, simple past, simple future with only subject and verb, nothing more. Now we add object. Okay? So, we eat apples, we ate apples, we will eat apples. Very simple sentences. Starting like this, do not give up on the course, it will go to proper places. Okay? Assignment again asks you to make such a few simple sentences, but this time only in simple present. You know why we are giving more emphasis to simple present compared to simple past and simple future? Pardon? Simple present tense is used every day. No, nothing of that sort. Some other reason, some student will tell. We have taught simple present, simple past, simple future, and one assignment was on constructing sentences in simple present, simple past, simple future, some this kind, some this kind, some that kind. Then the next assignment is only on simple present, because you people will not make mistakes in simple past and simple future. In simple present, some of you make mistakes. Can somebody tell what is that mistake? And why in simple present you make mistakes or somebody makes mistakes? In simple past, it is always ate, went, gave, slept. In simple future, it is always will go, will eat, will play, will sleep. In simple present, sometimes it is sleep, sometimes it is sleeps, sometimes it is go, sometimes it is goes, sometimes it is eat, sometimes it is eats, and people confuse in that. I never understood why people confuse. In our Indian languages, we use जाता है, जाती है, जाता हूँ, जाते हो, जाते हैं, 5 forms, and in English only 2 forms, go and goes. We confuse. It does not seem sensible. We are much more experts. We Indians are experts. We handle 5 different forms. Why so many Indians get confused in only 2 forms? The fact remains that some of us do get confused. That is why there is a full assignment on simple present, and I am giving you a tip that when doing this assignment, be careful. Okay? So, these are the 5 sessions which have been uploaded today, and the 5 assignments for which the deadline is on 12th January up to 10/5. Okay? That is Thursday, and if you miss till 10/5, then it will be to your benefit if you do not submit it till 3 p.m. After that, till next Monday morning. Okay? Any question at this point? No? Yes? Pardon? No, no, no. For ME 601, assignment submissions will be handwritten on paper in class. Okay. Okay. This would. So, the sheets that you get At the top, write this. We are meeting not on the Monday class, but on Saturday in L16, L17 for TOEFL. Okay? Everybody has got the sheet? Written the top line? Okay. Write a brief summary in 4-5 sentences of what was done in class today. 5 minutes.